Hello, Newburgh. This is Pastor Steve here with our Monday Minute for March the 1st of 2021. It's hard to believe that we're already here and that we're also approaching the midway point of the season of Lent this coming Sunday. But we'll get to that in just a moment. A few reminders of what we have coming up right now. First of all, our sermon and study series will continue this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. online via Zoom with Reverend Gassaway and myself. We hope that you will join us for that. All you have to do is go online. If you weren't watching live with us yesterday, go back and watch the sermon. Take a few notes, and we'll have some discussion questions that will be ready as we talk about the passages for that day and what it means for us as we don't give up in this season of Lent. Also, our Women Connecting Through Christ, their study is continuing on Thursday evenings via Zoom at 6:30. You can contact Reverend Gassaway and get the link for that as well. Also, please don't forget about our regular online offerings, such as our Monday Minute here, our Saturdays with Mrs. Karen, which debuts every Saturday on YouTube and also is posted here on Facebook, and our Zoom youth group meetings, which are happening on Sunday evenings at 6:30. And again, you can check out the Newburgh Students page on our on Facebook and social media for that, and also on our webpage and social media as well. We are going to be having an online town hall meeting next Tuesday, March the 9th, a week from tomorrow, and we'll be talking about a variety of topics as we continue to navigate through this pandemic and as we start to make preparations for what reopening the church for regular Sunday services is going to look like, in addition to several other topics as well. So please be sure to join us for that. That again will be next Tuesday, March the 9th, and that will be at 7 o'clock p.m. Also, be sure to RSVP for our upcoming outdoor services. We'll be having our Outdoor Maundy Thursday service. That will be at 7 p.m., again in the Memorial Garden, where we'll have an opportunity to worship together and celebrate communion as we observe Jesus' Last Supper with his disciples. And then on Easter Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m., we'll be having an Easter sunrise service in person. It will be in the back parking lot. Again, you need to RSVP for that, as we do have limited capacity for both of those services. And again, you can check out more information that will be available through our webpage and social media. We're looking forward to bringing those services to you as we celebrate Holy Week and celebrate the resurrection on Easter Sunday. We'll be having more announcements at our town hall about what is going to be coming up for the season of Lent and Holy Week. So again, join us as you tune in for that. Today, as we enter a new month and we're fully immersed now in the season of Lent, I've got a bit of a confession to make. I found myself this past week, well, for lack of a better term, dwelling on things. We all do that from time to time, and as do I. But these were things in particular that I was dwelling on that I have no control over. I can't really do anything about. And yet, there I was, stewing, angry, frustrated, trying my best to take control and to take charge of a situation that I really don't have any control over or have any way of taking charge of. There I was thinking that through just my sheer will, I would be able to, quote unquote, fix this. And that I alone, through that, could change everything. Now, of course, all of us fall into this trap from time to time, depending on what the situation is. And many of us, of course, believe too that if the world would just work according to the way that I design it, it would be a far better place. But it doesn't. And it probably wouldn't. Yet, that doesn't mean that I like it, or that any of us like it either. Then I was reading for my devotion from Matthew 6. And Matthew 6, in verse 25, Jesus instructs us not to worry. Specifically, he says, don't worry about your life or what it is that you are going to eat or what you're going to drink or about your bodies or what you'll wear. The basics, the necessities of life. And these worries that Jesus isn't talking about aren't based on our American abundance, about what it is that we want to eat or drink and just can't decide, or we have a closet full of clothes and yet still nothing to wear. Jesus is talking about wondering where your next meal is going to come from, or if you have any different or new types of clothes at all to be able to wear. Jesus is talking about the basics and necessities of life that many of us take for granted. And he reminds them that God is the one who takes care of the basic needs of all of creation. Look at the birds of the air, the beasts of the field. God takes care of all of them. And then Jesus says, how much more so will God take care of you? But Jesus doesn't stop there. And this is the point. He asks rhetorically, can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your lifespan? I've preached on these words before, and while I wasn't so much worrying out of fear, I was worrying out of control. And no matter what we are worrying about, we're never really in control. And yet we always have that desire to control, but we can't. Lent is a reminder that we can only control what we can control, how we respond, how we choose to deal with a certain situation, and whether it can have power over our lives or if we can release that so it does not have power over our lives. Lent reminds us that when we worry, and if we worry about other things, we're simply focused on the wrong things. So Lent calls us through our disciplines of either giving up, or as we're saying during this season of Lent in our series, to not give up on what it is that we can control to keep everybody safe. But yet it is still a reminder that we all need to refocus our time and our energy in the right places. Jesus says in verse 33 to strive first and foremost for the kingdom of God and God's righteousness. And the rest, God will provide for you. It goes along nicely with that message of trust and grace that we spoke about yesterday in the service, talking about Abraham and his trust and grace, and how Jesus fulfills that covenant of trust and grace that God first made with him. But we have to trust it, and we have to accept it. But what we forget, what I forget, is that it applies not just in church, but it applies to all of our lives. And that's what Lenten discipline is all about. Letting go, and letting go of those things so that we can have a better God-filled life each and every day. I've resolved this week not to let these little things bother me and to give them so much power, and to trust in the grace that God has given. And as we move forward in Lent, I hope that we all can find a way to release those things that we cannot control and turn our worry into joy. And the joy specifically of becoming more Christ-like in the season of Lent, but also becoming more Christ-like each and every day of our lives. So let's work on that, and let's do it together as we journey towards the cross with Jesus in the season of Lent, but releasing all of the power that is contained in that through his resurrection and the life that we have in him. Have a blessed week. Stay safe out there, and we'll look forward to seeing you back here next week for another edition of the Monday Minute.